The city of Lagos waits and dark as all routes.
Be the first to know. From the north, south, east, west and around Africa, we break the news.
One Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are Core TV News.
Welcome to Core TV,
a 24-hour news station.
Glad to have you join us on Friday edition of Core Digest, your ultimate news and current affairs program. Now it's day 60 after the abduction of over 200 girls from Chibok, Borno State. A lot of things some say have happened that now have made that particular issue not as hot as it used to be, especially in northeastern Nigeria. Recently we had that public viewing centers have been shut down as the World Cup begins in Brazil, and these are ways from security quarters to ensure safety in that part of the country. A new twist to all of this is coming from the governor of Kano, and of course it's at the heels of the death of the former emir of Kano, and that of course brought to fore the former CBN governor, who is now the new emir. The governor of Kano is saying Jonathan is after my life, and he said that on Wednesday, having accused Mr. President of plotting to eliminate him, and a fresh twist to a long-standing row between these two leaders. And that's our thoughts of discussion today as we discuss Jonathan after my life, Kano governor cries out. I'm joined now by a lecturer with the Pan-African University and is also a public affairs analyst, Austin Nweze. Thank you for finding time to join us today.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Now, is it not amazing that we have two big players, a governor of a state in northern Nigeria and the #1 citizen of the nation in this unending row? What does that portend for us as a nation?
We live in interesting times in Nigeria, and it's quite interesting to know that there's a power struggle, there's a power play, everything is all about politics, and the masses of Nigeria are the ones at the receiving end, which nobody talks about the economy, how the economy is doing. Nobody talks about how the average Nigerian is living and the standard of living of average Nigerian, the quality of life of average Nigerian. You know, so nobody talks about it. It's all about protecting your turf in politics. And the governor of Kano State, you know, his comment, this is not the first time a governor is crying out that somebody is after his life and all that. And if it were in Obasanjo time, then it's understandable, you know, because he will go after you and, you know, make sure that you get out of the way. But this time around, it's quite unfortunate that there don't seem to be respect for that seat of the president. You know, we Nigerians need to learn how to respect the office of the president. You know, like the former American President Bill Clinton would say that nobody says no to the president. That's how exalted that position is. And for our democracy to grow, we need to start by respecting that seat, not the person, but the seat, first of all, then the person. Okay? Otherwise, I'm surprised that even the people that are supposed to show example, you know, are just talking anyhow, and abusing and using abusive languages. Show no respect. They should not forget that other people are watching them, and they expect their minions to respect them. If you cannot respect somebody, the president of the nation, in your guided statements and all that, how do you expect the people of Kano to respect you? You know, so that's just the thing. You know, it's often said that where there's no respect, trouble follows. Trouble in Kano because there's no respect.
But then they say that everything rises and falls on leadership. Prior to this time, you recall the Inyako's letter to Mr. President, which followed the same turn.
That's right.
Prior to that time, Amechi in River State also made similar statements.
That's right.
Are you saying that all of these fall on the governors, what then is the responsibility of Mr. President, who's supposed to be the overall leader of all?
Yeah, but the thing is that there's a Latin word that but literally means that the ego does not catch fly, which means that the president should also realize the position he sits on. And he should be, no, he's an ego. He should not be coming low to catch fly. He should not be exchanging words. He should not be involved in all these petty, nuances that you find going around in this thing. So he takes part of the blame for not comporting himself well as a president. Joining issues with people and all that. Yes, I agreed that, they must have misfired somehow, and especially with Sanusi being the emir and all that, because they're doing everything, those positions are doing everything to embarrass him. So he should know that everything they're doing is just to embarrass the president, not apart from the president, the seat of that president. I wonder, by the time they are done with him and he moves out, somebody else takes over, what kind of respect? It will be difficult for the person to command the kind of respect that the president commands. That is my point. This seat of the president must be respected. And any individual sits on it also must be respected.
But the respect you're talking about now, is it a respect for the office or the personality?
Respect for the office, first of all, and then the personality.
But the respect now, is it something that stays with the seat, or the responsibility to keep the respect alive too falls down on the personality that occupies the seat?
Yes, the personality that occupies the seat has a responsibility to make sure that he respects himself and respect the office which he sits, which he occupies. So it's a two-way thing. If you want people to respect that position, you have to first of all, respect that position by conducting yourself properly.
Let's look at the issues that preceded this statement from the Kano State Governor. It has to do with the appointment of the former CBN Governor as the new Emir of Kano. Prior to the public notice of that appointment, the PDP came up with an hasty congratulatory message to the son of the former king, Ado Bayero, and saying, congratulations, you are the new emir. And afterwards, the PDP secretary, of course, made a public apology. But since then, we've not seen either the PDP or the presidency congratulating the new emir of Kano. How do you put all of that together?
Well, it was, they were being preemptive to make sure that the emir, they achieved their purpose. Okay, their purpose was to preempt so that Kwankwanso, the governor, does not do otherwise. Okay, unfortunately for them, in one way, unfortunately for them on the other way, on the other hand, they were able to, Kwankwanso played his own card and the card of the opposition, and just to spite the PDP and the president and all that, But be it as it may, the point is that the PDP had an agenda by first of all pushing. Don't forget, there was an election in Lagos. Before the election was concluded, the ACN then, or the AC, announced results that they had won before even they. So it's all politics. PDP played that card, congratulating the other president, hoping that, one, to cause problem, okay, for people to react, which they achieved.
What role do you think that played in the crisis that followed?
No, that was, what was it? Because it looked as if there was some manipulation at the end of the day. Even if it was originally intended that Sanusi should be the shoe-in for that position, okay? But by PDP, preempting and announcing and congratulating the other person, the son of the late emir, shows that they wanted to achieve something to trigger, knowing that Sanusi, all his life, his dream has always been to become the emir of Kano. So it actually triggered off, directly, let me say directly, triggered off the mayhem, the reaction of the people and all that. Because the people say, okay, we announced that this man has been announced at this has been congratulated. Now you change your mind. So why? So his supporters will now react.
Well, in just recently, of course, about 1 or 2 days ago, Kano crowd last night, tension in Kano over rumors Mr. President has reversed Sanusi's appointment as emir. What do you think this silence from the president?
No, that's what it's supposed to be, because one is that it is not in the purview of the president to appoint the emir of Kano. Is the governor. It's within his purview to do that. Okay, and the president should just keep quiet, and then there are other things that he could do if he doesn't want Sanusi. There are other ways of getting rid of him, and don't forget, in the first place, in today's Nigeria, the personality occupying that Sanusi himself, it's not, to me, it's not the right person to occupy as Emir of Kano. Because he's a very temperamental person, and he's a fundamentalist. And in this day and time, instead of containing the people, he might incite them. Okay? He might incite them. There are evidence from the federal government announced that they had he has been linked to the financing of Boko Haram.
Well, unlike your position, many are saying that possibly this position would confer on him that compartment that deserves of a king.
I don't think so. I have been following him for some years. Okay, since 2003 or 2002, I've been following this man. Okay, and just his progression to where he is today, he cannot. He cannot.
No, only time will tell. But should Mr. President congratulate the new emir of Kano? I mean, is it not traditional? Is it not what is expected to have happened a long time ago?
No, because there's a political implication to this. All right, if you congratulate him as a president, that shows that you have accepted him as this thing. And Mr. President is saying that, look, it's not accepted.
But some are of the opinion that that's exactly responsible for the continued crisis in Kano.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
So what do you think is responsible for the crisis?
The thing is that, in the first place, Sanusi is a wrong choice for the emir of Kano.
How come?
Because of his personality. He was a wrong choice in the first place to be CBN governor.
But he has all the rights to be
He has every
emir.
right. He has every right. But sometimes in a situation in the country as it is today, we don't need this kind of personality, because instead of coming down, you need someone with a personality that, that is not biased against anybody. Okay? He's a religious fundamentalist. And occupying that position, knowing how volatile Kano is, it would be, I think it's not good for the nation as a whole.
You recall that prior to Sanusi's appointment as a CBN governor, he wasn't known. He wasn't in the limelight. And I read one of the interviews made, with him. He said he never believed in this administration. He never believed in the corruption and the faulty processes that has come all the way. And he has no other choice than to speak out. Are you saying there's anything wrong in an emir speaking out against injustice or corruption in government system?
No, but you speak, like there's something they said that those that live in a glass house should not throw stones.
Okay.
Okay? He spoke against those things. But what did he end up doing? The same thing that he spoke against. The same thing. So who is following who? Okay? Yeah. So you spoke about corruption, and there are corruption charges against you, which he told the team of the federal government legal team, he was more or less begging them to settle out of court.
Okay.
They have proof, they have evidence against him. Okay? And the same corruption. How in the world a CBN governor doling out monies as charities, printing money without the president's this thing and all that, abusing the office he occupied.
Let's take a closer look at the content of the governor of Kano statement. Of course, those things you made mention, Sanusi was of the opinion that they are parts of community development or social responsibility of the CBN. But that's not our discussion today.
Yes.
Let me read this to you. Now, the governor is saying that Mr. President is after his life and had ordered the withdrawal of half of his security details in a ploy to open him up to physical attacks.
Well, it's not Nyako who has attacked Nyako since the security details were withdrawn. That also shows that, look, the office of the president, he has a right to kill. But he doesn't have a right to make alive. But he can allow you, he decides whether you should live or not. And he's just telling you that, look, I deserve your respect. You should respect the office of president. You can't open your mouth and talk anyhow to that office, no matter who, even if it's a goat that occupies that position. But for the fact that that position of the president, that's the point I'm making. We should learn how to respect that office. And don't forget that Jonathan we see today, I have a feeling that when he comes back in 2015 and to become a president, 2015, he's going to be a different person. Yes, he's going to be a different person.
How do you mean?
You know, is the Jonathan you know today as a weakling and all that will not be the Jonathan of 2015.
But of course, even though many call him weakling, we have seen some military-like, commando-like display from Mr. President. Recently, we heard about a clampdown on print media.
Yeah.
What is weakling, so to speak, about that?
No, but the presidency denied it's a purely military this thing. But the military, it's not creative. It's a no-brainer. What they're doing, there's a security issue. All you do is to block road. Some of the roads, half of the roads are blocked in Abuja for security. Is that how to protect security? To provide security? Now you believe that vans, are carrying some arms and all that. You don't even need to announce it. All you need to do, okay, check, because by announcing it, you have told the people who are putting arms to change their strategy.
Prior to 2013, Kwankwaso was a PDP faithful, and then the relationship with Mr. President deteriorated after he changed camp from PDP to APC. Now, this inter-party conflict, many are of the opinion that is not good for the growth of our democracy. What role do you think Mr. President has to play in all of this?
No, let me trace back to this. There's something that Nigerians should know. In sociology, there's something called hackneying, reading between the lines. Okay? Nigerians should begin to read between the lines, to see the body language, to learn about history. How did all these things start before you now begin to make your conclusions, draw your conclusions? Okay. In the first place, if you check why did they move? Why did he move from? Because the people that believe that is their birthright to rule this nation, they don't want any other person to rule, feel that they have lost out in PDP. So the other alternative is the APC. And check out those that congregate in APC. You find that they have been the people ruling this nation. And don't forget Obasanjo's letter that said that if Mr. President does not do so and so, that no Ijaw man will ever rule Nigeria. That shows that we are not. We don't have a right to access the office of the president. We don't have a right. Okay. So you feel that you find that those that are actually fighting this, it's all about struggle for power. These guys are kidnapped, they're all about keeping them so that by 2015, Mr. President will now come out and say, okay, look, I want to contest. They say, how can you contest when you have not released our girls? It's all about politics.
But one
playing
would have
politics
thought
with human being. But the role of the president, the role of the president is to assert himself, to make sure that he is the president of a united Nigeria.
You recall that,
and not the president of a section of the country.
Just hang on a little. You recall that the abduction of this over 200 girls in Chibok brought about a lot of international synergy. One would have thought that for the sake of thousands of people who die in that part of the country, Governors in this northeastern part and Mr. President, for crying out loud, will sit on the same table and cooperate together to forge on.
I'm happy you said that. That is the thing. Why haven't they come around? Why are they not participating? All the wahala, all the protests have been in the south. They're there, sitting comfy in their homes and all that, because they know what they're doing. So why can't they come and meet with the president to sort this thing out? Okay? And then you say one thing, the Adamawa is not even doing anything. The Yobe is not doing anything. The Borno state, the Borno government, yes, nobody has come out with any creative idea because they know what is going on. They are part of it's all part of the game plan to use it against 2015. It's all politics. And these girls, from sources that, they're kept in a home, a 3-story building somewhere. They're not in bush. From a source, recently, from a source. So
because we read also in the papers that some of them who escaped, as a matter of fact, one gave a very gory experience of how she was raped 15 times in a day by 15 men. And another dimension of the story says that it took Mr. President about 18 days to agree that these children were abducted. And if he had agreed earlier, maybe we won't be where we are right now.
No, you see, because one, Mr. President has information. He knows what is going on. I don't believe that as a president of this nation, he doesn't know. He knows what is going on. He knows the politics of all of this. And that's why, in the first place, they took these people. Why are the Americans not working directly with us? Because the military has been polarized. Okay? The armed forces have been polarized. They are not even sure. And reports we read in the papers and all that showed that those that have been shot, the military people have been killed, they were killed from behind. So this thing, there are some soldiers who are sympathetic to the cause of the Boko Haram issue that are actually working against the government, working against their colleagues. Don't forget, I think it was one of the soldiers who was arrested for supply information to them and all that. And he said that his religion comes first before his uniform. So when you have an army like that, what do you expect?
Let's look at this, some statements made by certain politicians recently. Someone was said to have said rig and roast in his comment about the Ekiti election. But look at what Governor Kokozo said. He said, we got information that they were planning to arrest him. That's Sanusi. We moved him to the government house. I don't want to imagine that would have happened if this, what would have happened if they succeeded. Now, he now went ahead to say, by the recent survey we just had and the local government election we held, we enjoy about 92% support of the population, and the remaining 8% are brewing and supporting crisis. There will come a time when this 92% will be on the offensive. That is when they will realize that they are making a mistake.
Yeah, you see, because that's an unguarded statement. This struggle for power. It's all about struggle for power. It didn't start today, right from 1900. The struggle for power in Africa as a whole. Now, in an attempt to kick out the colonialists and begin to have self-governance, the African leaders didn't know about any other thing. All they wanted was wrestle power from the colonialists, have self-determination, self-governance, and all that. And then any other thing can come after. They never learned from these people how to run a state. They never learned from these people how to organize a nation. They never learned from this coloniality how to build a nation. All they wanted, and the same pattern is still with us till today, even at a local level. So it's all about struggle for power. The comment made by the former governor of Lagos State, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, about rig or roast or something like that. It's all about struggle for power. And Kwame Wanso himself has also shown that, look, he's going to turn these people to be more violent.
But let's look at...
There's no peace. There's no peace. And for a leader to say that, we are in big trouble.
Yeah, but what about silence on the part of Mr. President, especially as regards his intention to run a second time? Second term, you recall what he said in Ekiti, where he said, I would love to come in another 2 years to commission, and giving that impression that nothing had been done in the past in Ekiti, giving that impression that there hasn't been any federal government presence in that part of the country. Wouldn't you think that he has more responsibility to keep this part of the country more united in our fight against terrorism?
No, because one is that you see that as a president, what politicians do is to struggle to get power and also struggle to keep that power. Mr. President is struggling to keep his seat. That is exactly what is going on. It's not about providing governance. It's all about protecting, making sure that he remains president. Okay? First of all, before any other thing. Now, he doesn't need to tell you that he is contesting. His body language. You should understand in communication, body language is a nonverbal form of communication. Okay? So you need to understand his body language. By that comment, he's already told you that, look, he's going to be president next time around. So there's no vacancy. That's what he meant by coming 2 years. He would like to comment. And again, secondly, the politics that we play in Nigeria is not good for a developing economy like Nigeria. It's not. Zero-sum politics is not good for Nigeria. We need to practice inclusive politics. Okay? Positive politics. Let me give you an example.
What and who do you think can motivate that and champion that cause?
It's a system. It's a systemic thing. It's the president that's supposed to have, with the permission of his party members.
So everything falls back to Mr. President?
It depends on the kind of relationship he has with the party men. Okay? Let me give you an example. In Kenya, when Kenya gained independence, they had some kind of a big party and minor, it was more or less a one-party state. But there were other minor parties and all that, but a very dominant party. Now, I think it was Jomo Kenyatta or whoever that was there, I think it was him. He ran an inclusive government. No matter your party leanings, you were involved in the affairs of the state. Now, a study was done, and it showed that that within that period, that Kenya's economy grew 13 times. 13 times. Because the focus was on the nation. That's positive politics. But when Daniel Arap Moi took over, he made a comment that the people, a particular tribe from the former president, making reference to them, he said that the other people who ruled Kenya were eating meat when his own tribe, when his own people were eating bones. Now that he's in power, it's their turn, his turn to eat meat while others eat bone. And then with pressure from the international community, Kenya entered a multi-party system. And Kenya's economy nosedived. Began to. The question is, which system is good for Kenya? Should the West, should they adopt the Western multi-party system, knowing that that system is what sustains a developed economy and not a developing economy? Okay? So economically, the political system, in political economy, you find that a nation should come up with a system that is local to them, because all politics is local. Find a system that works. Nigeria experimented with a couple of systems, parliamentary and now presidency and all that. And I believe that the liberal democracy we pretend to practice is too expensive for our economy. Before this rebasing, the size of the economy. Look at if you put together all the monies that are going to, even the budget, that 80% of the recurrent expenditure is personnel costs, taking care of all the politicians, all the other people, and all that. Yes.
Because of time now, let's quickly look at the how people can take charge of the situation. There are already electoral arithmetics that Kano is significant to who wins 2015 election. About 5.1 million registered voters, second only to Lagos. How do you think the people can be observant enough to make informed choices and be proactive as we count down to 2015 elections?
Now, talking about the people, okay, the people, well, because the whole system is polarized along religious lines, along ethnic lines and tribal lines, and stuff like that, okay? But put that aside, you find that, yes, these people can just vote for. There are two evils that we are being faced with. We don't know the evil from APC. We know indirectly the evil from PDP, but the evil of APC and others we don't know yet. Okay, so amongst all of this, people should make sure that they vote their conscience. And on the part of the government of the president, don't forget that Kano is more or less a cosmopolitan city. Okay, there are other non-indigens who live there. If through violence they were not chased out of, because that's what also conspiracy theorists are saying, that all these things is to drive out those that will make, after the indigens, non-indigens will also constitute some percentage, which the president may be looking at.
Okay.
So, so there's an opportunity there. Okay, they may win the majority, but the president could still get 25%.
It's all right. Thank you so very much for finding time to join us today. Austin Oweze. It's good to have you join us. He's a lecturer with the Pan-African University as well as a public affairs analyst. When we come back after this break for the news on the hour, we'll be looking at your tweets and your comments on Facebook. Now, in case you don't know, on Facebook, it's www.facebook.com/CoreTV News. Now put your comments there and I'll be back to read them. As well as on Twitter, it's at CoreTV News NG. Now you get to watch previous and current edition of this show on YouTube. It's trendy right there on the address on your screen, youtube.com/CoreTV. Leave a space and news. Stay with us and I'll be back with you after this break. CoreTV News presents a platform with presence in over 30 states of the Federation. Be sure to be had. For live coverage of events, we have the capacity to deliver from anywhere in Nigeria and beyond. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733, 014-533-407.
A 24-hour news station